We got a trade at the wide receiver position. We'll talk about that and who might be impacted by it. Plus, this injury bug is just getting out of hand, and another couple of Eagles make the top 100. Without wasting any more time, let's dive right into it. What's up, y'all, and welcome to Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast powered by Old City Sports Network, the best network for all of your Philadelphia sports needs. This is your host, Michael Roscoe. I want to start off this week's podcast by thanking everyone and appreciating everyone for their patience with me after not being able to record last week. A lot had been happening with my new job, and I did not feel adequately prepared to bring you my best content, so I'm back this week to talk about all that has occurred over this past week. Starting off, we got another roster move as of Wednesday, as the Eagles waived wide receiver Giles Jackson to make room to sign linebacker Chance Campbell. Campbell was the 6th round pick in the 2022 draft, recently playing with the Titans. Ended up missing his rookie season, and I think he missed last season as well with an ACL injury. It could have been the same season, but I got to imagine that this specific signing is probably a camp body type of signing as we get closer to the regular season. In other news, Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown makes the NFL top 100 as the list gets closer and closer to the top 10 players. He lands at number 29 on the list, and I would say that is pretty well deserved. Other players across the league have described A.J. Brown as, quote, a wide receiver that plays like a linebacker. And I totally get it, man. He is big, he is physical, he will fight you to the death for the ball, and in one-on-one coverage, he's just like damn near impossible to beat. So congrats to AJ on making the list. And we got another congrats to give, and that is to linebacker Zach Bond for landing on the list at number 26, also as of Wednesday. Zach Bond's story, it's honestly pretty incredible for the amount that has happened with him over the course of one season. He went from being a special teamer in New Orleans as an edge rusher, not really making an impact with the team, to becoming an NFL Defensive Player of the Year finalist at the inside linebacker position and a Super Bowl champion. Bond accumulated almost 200 total tackles in the regular and post seasons, as well as 3 total interceptions, including the one against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and had the second most forced fumbles in the league for 2024, just behind TJ Watt with 5 forced fumbles. He absolutely deserves to be on this list, so let's give a big shout out to Zach Bond for all of his achievements. All right, moving on to one of this week's main topics. We had a trade last week that, I'll be honest, I really did not see coming. The Eagles have traded tight end Harrison Bryant and a 5th round pick to the Houston Texans in exchange for wide receiver John Mechie III and a 6th round pick. Mechie was a 2nd round pick in the 2022 NFL draft, and last year he caught 24 of 37 targets for over 250 yards across 13 games with the Texans. Playing his college ball at the University of Alabama, this trade reunites Mechie with Devontae Smith, and the last time that these two were on the same team, they were balling out, y'all. Now, those numbers don't sound like a lot. Like, I totally get it. Those numbers don't sound a lot, under 300 yards over 13 games. But when you consider that he missed his entire rookie season due to illness, and he was behind Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell in the wide receiver rotation, it's pretty fair to say that he really didn't have a lot of opportunities to make a lot of targets heading his way. However, I think Mechie could be another Jahan Dotson-like signing, reliable when needed, but not going to put the wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2 out of a job. However, in some sort of way, he will be unintentionally putting someone out of a job, in the sense that there's definitely depth players that are going to have to ball the fuck out if they believe that they deserve a roster spot. Currently, the position locks are obviously A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Jahan Dotson. Following those guys, you now have John Mechie, in addition to Johnny Wilson, Anaya Smith, Darius Cooper, Terrace Marshall, Elijah Cooks, Giles Jackson, Taylor Morin, and Avery Williams. Now those last 4 guys, sorry, but they're getting cut. Jackson was already cut yesterday afternoon. So now you have Mechie, Wilson, Smith, Marshall, and Cooper. And out of those 5, I got to imagine at least 2 of them will be cut or sent to the practice squad. However, when I had written this part of the podcast, this was prior to the Johnny Wilson injury, in which he was carted off the field at practice with some type of leg injury. I don't think it's been publicly specified just yet. It's just, they're just calling it a leg injury. So depending on the extent of this injury, this could change things up and allow a player to remain on the team at least for a little bit before getting bumped down to the practice squad. Based on the newest acquisition of John Mechie, who has also already made an immediate positive impact at practice, according to Kevin Patullo, I see the wide receiver room being A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, John Mechie, Johnny Wilson, and Darius Cooper, with Anaya Smith and Marshall being cut. But now, if Wilson's injured for a while and he ends up being on IR, I would say that Anaya Smith has the edge over Terrace Marshall and would be on the team for a little bit until they activate Wilson from IR. All right, moving on. I don't know about y'all, but this injury bug hitting camp is getting out of fucking hand, and it needs to chill the hell out. In addition to Johnny Wilson getting injured, rookie safety Andrew Makuba exited practice Tuesday with a hamstring injury, and I think this is his second injury of camp. Then you have offensive tackle Jordan Mailata getting a concussion on Monday, quarterback 2 Tanner McKee suffering a finger injury on his throwing hand. You got Dallas Goedert being limited in practice with a groin injury. Keely Ringo is now dealing with a quad injury, and all of this is going on with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Nakobe Dean, Landon Dickerson, and others rehabbing their own injuries. However, there are some positive updates, as it looks like A.J. Brown will be back to practice at full participant soon, as he was seen working out along the sidelines, and linebacker Nakobe Dean telling Kenny Pickett at the joint practice with the Cleveland Browns saying that he could be as ready in as little as 2 weeks. Now, obviously, there might be some optimism and eagerness to get back on the field that could cloud some judgment as to the actual timeline in which he will be back, but there's the possibility that Dean could remain on the PUP list and then be ready by week 5. We just don't know yet at this time. But yeah, all these injuries are getting to be a lot. Like, what the fuck is going on? Is it all just a bunch of coincidences? Is it like these weird freak instances? I'm not really sure what exactly is going on. But thankfully, it looks like most of them aren't super serious and have little recovery time. But I am worried about the injuries to Landon Dickerson, Andrew Makuba, and a couple of others. These lower body injuries are no joke, and I know the Eagles have been handling these injuries pretty well, and they've been pretty conservative with players' health, especially in the preseason, because up until around this time, there's not a huge rush to get somebody healed before a big game starts. Yet, as we are closer to the preseason, I'm just a little worried as time continues on for which they will be ready. The first game of the season is just a couple of weeks away from today, and if injuries like Makuba's last 2 to 3 weeks or more, that could be a problem for us, especially in that secondary, which leads me to my next point. Howie has got to pick the phones back up and make some calls. He's out here getting wide receivers and a couple of camp bodies, and I get that. They have a purpose. But personally, I feel that we are in desperate need of a stronger cornerback 2 and another safety. With Ringo's performance in camp not going the way a lot of people pictured it to be, and now with his injury, the internal cornerback 2 battle is pretty much done, with Adoree Jackson coming out on top. Now, even with Cooper DeJean coming from the slot and getting outside reps, this might only be in base defense, if at all, and if he's not moved to safety in base defense, because after all the injuries in the safety room, it looked like they would need him more at that safety position in base defense. Now, I'm glad the Eagles picked whom they believed is the best person for the job for whom they have right now. I'm just not 100% in love that it is Jackson. With a history of inconsistency and injury, it worries me, especially how he and Ringo performed against guys like T. Higgins and Jamar Chase in the preseason game versus the Bengals, because they'll face guys like that for 17 weeks who are just as talented throughout the entire season. I'm still not opposed to getting someone like Asante Samuel Jr., who is young and presents with great upside despite some of his flaws, because we are going to need help on that side opposite of Quinyon Mitchell. Even if Mitchell always lines up against the wide receiver one, no matter what side of the field they're on, there are plenty of teams who have fantastic wide receiver twos that could easily get the best of Adoree Jackson, and that is going to be a problem for our entire defense. And then as for the safety position, Howie, go out and get Simmons at this point. Get him on the phone ASAP, because there's been talks of him meeting with the Bills, and we don't want the Bills to nab him up before we actually try to make him an offer. Now, did Justin Simmons have a little bit of an off year? Maybe, but he has a history with Vic Fangio, and it would add veteran presence considering Makuba has done well, but he is a rookie and dealing with some injuries. And then you have Sidney Brown, who has also been banged up, and I don't think many people believe that he's got that starting level capability at this time. I can understand holding out on making a free agent signing like this, because the later it gets in the preseason, the more financially beneficial it is for the team trying to sign a player. But we're running real low on time, guys. Even if it's not Justin Simmons, just another veteran presence to pair alongside Reed Blankenship would suffice. Now, if Makuba is healthy by week 1, even by like week 2, I'll take that. Then I feel like we're in a good position at that point. But let me know what y'all think. If Andrew Makuba is not good to go, should Howie make one more splash and get us a safety? Let me know what y'all think. All right, y'all, that is it for this week. Thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or follow on YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok by searching at 2nd and 15 or by the full name 2nd and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast. You can find the audio for each and every single episode releasing Thursday mornings on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Player FM, Pocket Casts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And the video will be uploaded to YouTube later that same day. This episode, 2nd and 15, and Old City Sports Network are sponsored by Warlord Beard Oil. Use promo code OLDSPORTS at warlordbeardoil.com to get 15% off of your beard oils, washes, soaps, apparel, and many other products for all of your beard care needs. Orders over $75 will get you free shipping. Once again, thanks y'all for joining in. This is 2nd and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast powered by Old City Sports Network. We'll see you all next week, but don't forget to check out the final Eagles preseason game tomorrow night on the road against the New York Jets at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We will see you all then. Don't forget to stay fly like an eagle, and as always, go Birds!